I think Bald wants to also get a great timing here in the game. As we are actually in the game. So let's see what's going to happen. Like, in terms of lanes, is there any lane in particular that you feel like is the kill lane?
I guess the main thing, going back to the anti-mage point, is I guess my concerns for the anti-mage pick was more of the idea of the entire draft. But when you think about the laning phase, like you just mentioned, Earth Spirit doesn't really apply a lot of pressure in lane. And then it's this Hoodwink, which is a lot of right-click, but that Earth Spirit Hoodwink combo, this will be the key lane to look at. Can they actually pressure an anti-mage? Because if you can't pressure the anti-mage in laning phase, everything I just said about the whole 4 Protect 1 is thrown out the window, because he will get that like 12-minute quick Battle Fury, and now suddenly it's like you're on a clock and Bald will have a lot of issues. So yeah, it's simply how does Radix, how does 5UP enter the laning phase, pressure anti-mage correctly to unlock their draft to have that 20-minute window of potential confidence.
Well, let's see who wins the fight over the rune.
Get the have fun's dropped here by Radix, but immediately a disruption here from Aramis. They have the stomp from KheZu. They'll go and drop down the brambles, force out that fairy fire. With Celery now forced back, or kind of just spraying around everything that he can for the time being. Aramis taking a lot of damage as well, but looks like this whole engagement is over and
Wait a second. Is Viking not gonna get the other runes in time? No, they are. No, they're not. They're
maturing.
What?
Who's going to waddle down for them?
They're fermenting. You know? They're getting stronger. And
SD and Willow are both moving towards the area. Willow
I think Willow ignores it.
Yeah, Willow assumed that there wasn't there. So yeah, SD's going to get a couple bounty runes for free.
No, that's very nice for them.
That's really nice.
Is there potential for tri-lane? You're saying that you want to see that that a Hoodwink Earth Spirit lane do very well. Like Pablo going top, is that an option? Because Bristlebacks generally, I'm sure that Gork will be decently okay on that bottom lane by himself.
Yeah, I feel like potentially starting top as 3 could have been a pretty good play to shut down the anti-mage. He's already, 2 for 3 on CS. He is half HP, to be fair, but yeah, I think starting Willow top maybe could have been a better play to unlock the overall big picture game plan of Bald. But yeah, starting 2-1-2, it puts a lot more pressure on Earthspirit and Hoodwink to get that pressure. And Hoodwink isn't really a hero that does it alone. You need that +1, and ET kind of offsets that for sure.
I don't think you want to bring someone up here when you consider they have an Elder Titan. You don't want more bodies, more things for them to walk the spirit through and get that extra punch.
Yeah, it'll be entirely like the idea of you start the lane with it. You do first wave, second wave, you fight, then you TP out back to 2-1-2.
Fair.
But they kind of missed opportunity now.
Bottom lane, already a lot of harass over here on Gork, but KheZu's got some stacks up, has already picked himself up that stick though, so.
Battle of the streamers. Both teams got pretty prestigious streamers there, KheZu versus Gork. Whoever gets the kill on either one first will inherit the Dota streaming kingdom.
But who has the cat is the question.
Well, KheZu for sure.
KheZu has a cat. Does Gork have a cat?
I have no idea.
No.
Oh, okay, he does not have a cat.
If he has a cat, he would have had more viewers.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
This is how cats work.
Yes, the infamous cat cam, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, cat cams, that people like those.
It's working out for KheZu.
Clearly.
Yes. Heard it here first. They think that he's only good on stream because of his cat. I think his stream would agree, to be fair. But yeah, so the concerns I had during the draft about the amount of space that they'll need, it's not really coming into effect because Bald isn't able to apply that pressure. I think the idea of how they started their laning phase and how they did go 2-1-2, like we mentioned, there isn't enough pressure being applied to this anti-mage. And they're now going to be relying on the 4 to 5 minute, how do they break down the game to get some advantage? Because CS-wise, Vikings looking pretty healthy.
It doesn't feel like they're really slowing down this anti-mage very much at all.
No.
And you can see too with the Tiny, he's having a good time over in that mid lane. Are seeing some denies though coming up from Lesh. He's pretty neck and neck with that. So that is, important. Excalibur is going to be kind of the person who's going to be able to put pressure on the buildings early on. Nice over here by 5UP. Even gets bashed by Roche.
Yeah, he just did that. An interesting thing here will just be how do they unlock the jungle, pretty much, from Viking and also from Bald, because both teams have an ability to farm stacks. Of course, Centaur with Vanguard can farm it pretty quick. Bristle really needs stacks. This is why the hero is so strong, or at least can be strong, is if he can play a strong laning phase and then instantly retreat to having 4 or 5 stacks made up. And that's where Viking are doing a really good job with the Elder Titan, stopping 5UP from just free making these stacks and having some contest. Yeah, nice aggression so far.
Yeah, what is... Oh, 5 have teleported mid. Ah, let's see if they can get Celery.
He does have boots on Celery.
Oh, what?
And a win
He
lace.
grabbed it, yeah. There goes Celery, just cruising on out. See you later, lads.
I mean,
They
that
were
was
trying to
very
get- yeah.
Go back
optimistic.
in, look at him.
They're trying to get it for Excalibur there, and then fortunately Celery Fruit saw for it. He does have boots win lace, and he's a zoomy boy. Yeah, laning phase not going exactly how Bald really wanted. Ideally, right now they'd have at least a couple kills.
I mean, it's hard, right? Because you look at what Vikings got here on the bottom lane. You've got the stun, you've got the disruption. We've seen it a couple times now. It's like a little bit of a close call over here for Excalibur, but he is going to be fine. Doesn't have any regen though, which is a bit tough. So here's a question I have, and we discussed this in the car a couple days ago. When your mid laner doesn't have any sort of regen left, is it worth it to then run at kind of just use all your spells in another lane as a support and then die, but then teleport back mid and refill the bottle? Is it totally worth
for
it?
sure,
'Cause we're seeing that in Chinese Dota, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's been a thing for, it was delicately, kind of loosely done in Season 1, and then kind of being more popularized now in Season 2. But the idea is, you play out your lane, and then when you have nothing else to do on the map, you can't really pull a wave anymore, you can't stop a camp, just get yourself reset, die to something, force out some kind of resource game, and then when you go back to mid, he's just going to have such a free time. It also unlocks the gank, right? Because if you go to mid, give him a free bottle, where are you going to go? You're going to pivot to top lane, to bot lane. It's really hard for the enemy to see. So I would love to see just teams doing it a little bit more, especially on heroes that have that instant kind of explosive potential. Like an Earth Spirit, for example, him being top, going off map, appearing mid, that's so, volatile. But yeah, it's a really kind of underrated mechanic, and I hope to see it a lot more, especially in even upper division. It is very, very good. The tactical feed.
Hey, it's important. Plus, you get a free TP now, too. So, it's not the end of the world. You do see some of those nice stacks getting made, though. Again, Aramis taking care of that triangle very, very nicely. Will be able to provide those to his Tiny or eventually the Anti-Mage. And
Yeah, Celery's doing a really good job.
he's just cruising. Look at him.
Yeah, exactly.
So
He's
fast.
got such a quick tranquil boots, and in the last 2-3 minutes, he's always been scouting out this area of the map. So there aren't any ancient stacks by minute 6. This is pretty devastating for a Bristle type lineup, especially when you're the one with the window. And yeah, all my concerns of the draft for an Anti-Mage completely gone just with how this laning phase went now. He's 42 for 9. He's having a completely free time. He's got the gloves, the Wraith Band, completely just rushing Battle Fury. This is 1v1 happy Anti-Mage.
And I'm just concerned because we're not seeing much stacking coming out from the side of Team Bold here either.
Yeah, again, Celery's done a good job to stop the top side stacking, and bot lane,
They haven't
the
been
amount
able
of pressure,
to.
exactly, the amount of pressure that Bristleback's been under, he's not been able to open it up, and yeah, just the way that Viking have played, the supports have just kind of prevented Bald from hitting those kind of basic notes of their draft is kind of hard, and boom, that's his second time he's put Excalibur in a very low position.
Celery's here, though. Has to
Good
be
little
careful.
juke, yeah.
Teleport over to the mid lane. This 5 up just coming by to say hello. Make sure that they don't get a little too ambitious here. But of course, that is going to make more space now that they went and they moved that the Earth Spirit from the top lane.
Already a 2k lead for Viking. Yeah, the Excalibur's so upset right now. He's like, I got nothing to fill my bottle up. I've got no stacks to quickly farm before I go back home. Just no efficiency from the jungle right now, from Board.
I mean,
So
like-
what's the contingency plan for Team Bald? Because they need to do something surely to slow down Vikings' game or speed up their own.
Oh, I guess the main thing here is a lineup like Viking, its weakness comes from when the enemy is being proactive. And right now, Board isn't being proactive, allowing Viking to have these lanes which are going so well. They're statically farming everything. And that's where I'd like to see Board kind of link up their double support duo and play with the Leshrac, maybe play with this Hoodwink and start applying some pressure. Because I think at this point, Gork doesn't really need help down here. Yeah, he's sitting on low HP, but what's the trade-off? If a Bristle farms and a Centaur farms, if you start applying pressure to Anti-Mage, that will feel a little bit better. But right now, with how they're so locked into their lanes, it's not going to feel that good because you're not building a lead for your Bristle compared to Anti-Mage now, who's just freely blinking throughout his jungle, pushing out his top lane.
Chipped Vest.
Chipped Vest, yeah.
The dream for melee cores.
Will he give it to Centaur? But that was, what game was it yesterday where, I think it was in the Na'Vi series or something, where the Void was right-clicking down a Centaur and literally killed himself.
Yeah, the follow-up to Wishrock could turn this right back around. A nice snipe here from Rajix. The roll forward, though, coming up from 5 up. They're trying to get enough damage over here onto Boom, but they don't have anything to cancel out the TP, so he is going to be able to escape.
Yep, and now this is where Bald's draft kind of shows itself here. The idea of skirmish and aggression comes into play. They finally kill Centaur. And Kezu, he's going to be chuckling to himself here, because he's like, look at my anti-mage, guys. You're killing me, but you're not killing him.
The flip side of that, though, too, Excalibur realizing that there was so much action going on in the bottom lane, has been able to put a little bit of pressure over onto the mid tower.
Yeah, that's really good. And that's why Leshrac is such a strong hero, especially with the build that he went. He went just 2-4. Just farm out his lane, be ready to pressure towers when possible, and just want to collapse the map.
Look at Celery. Look
He's
how
so
active
annoying.
he is.
Yeah,
It's so good.
You've not seen a single ancient stack because of this. And this death here, if it... Oh, he just ran behind him, Rajix, mate. You're just...
He's very dead here, but, you know, he manages to go drop down the sentry, block it off, and he's just forcing so much attention over to this area, and it's just making more and more space for anti-mage, like you said.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, the saving grace, though, for Bull will just be when they get one item on each core, they can start pressuring Roshan, they can start moving around together, and that can offset the window where anti-mage farms.
Oh, that hooks up.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's
Clean.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Again, battle of the streamers, Gorg versus Kezu.
Who's winning, though? Who would you say is...
Technically, Kezu did die, therefore
But that
Gorg
was
is
a-
the better streamer.
But was it a tactical sort of situation because he's drawing all of the attention to the bottom lane? Do we counter in those facts?
Oof, that's hard now. Maybe, yeah, we'll see after the game. We'll tally up all depths and work it out. But right now, I think Kezu's actually in the lead for just general macro play.
Okay, all
But
right.
for just pure, you know, do you have deaths or not, Gorg is in the lead. And that's what chat will be looking at for sure.
For sure.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Chad currently sitting at the top of the net worth, 5.1k. This anti-mage has not really been handled with at all,
Yeah,
which
no
is a
pressure.
bit concerning.
They do have level 6s on near everyone but Willow. I think Willow should be pretty close though, and I think that might be the changing point. I'd love to see Bald actually look to invade this. You know, if you have no stacks yourself, you can assume that your opponent has had better efficiency. So smoking out and having a look for that would be pretty good.
But the invasion, they use the Stampede just so they can make sure that they find him, but it's a good terrorize here from Pablo. They can turn it right back around. They went through up the splitter. Get the kill on Celery, they'll turn it in, and get the kill on Kezu as well.
And Gorg does kill Kezu there for solidifying the whole streamer battle that we have going on right now.
Yeah, I think he won now. Yeah.
Making a good case for himself, for sure.
There's a wild dive though. Absolutely wild
They
dive.
used the Stampede for it, as if he could really go
Diving
too
a
many places
bristleback,
underneath
yeah.
there. But they're feeling themselves, I'm sure.
Yeah, a little bit. But again, Kezu will probably be like, don't worry guys, Shad's farming. And yeah, these are the type of deaths where Viking, they're probably a little bit too comfortable with the type of game. They're relying heavily on anti-mage, and this is the window where Bald can utilize these types of kills, because I just mentioned the idea that if they play out their lane, they scout out ancient stacks from Viking, they steal them, then they're kind of somewhat back in the game.
There was a Pablo there.
Yeah, he got deleted. Yeah, SD now sits up top, getting his levels. And I guess the last time Bald did play with a Hoodwink, Rajix went super farm orientated. He was going for like the Gleipnir, just full in, I'm not leaving my lane until the fight comes to me type of situation. Maybe I'd like to see them change up that playstyle a little bit and look for a kill. They are 4-1 up, to be fair. Like we mentioned the idea that they need to find kills. I think they could potentially have a couple more. And now Viking, they're the ones actually being proactive. They're the ones being the aggressors, smoking up.
Smoking up over here on the side. They don't want to run into 5 up right away. Celery, though, dropping the spear. The jump forward, the blink here from Boom. It's going to try to go and just blow up Excalibur. Not going to be able to quite manage it just yet, as you do see Aramis falling on the backside, and Shad showing up will be able to collect himself a kill on Excalibur. And 5 up now left behind, so is Rajix here. This is not looking very good for our little squirrely friend as they do try to go. They have that magnetize. Bit of a slow. Boom. Force back is rooted into place with the brambles. The toss right back. He's going to try to teleport out before this Curse Crown procs, and he barely manages to get out.
Yeah, from Bald there, just a little bit of disconnect on what the team was trying to achieve. You've got the Leshrac pushing the tower, Hoodwink behind the tower, Willow's just at the tier 1, Gorg TP's in after the Leshrac dies, so kind of just a little bit sloppy with how they approached this siege. Sometimes you want to have a setup where the support's actually tanking that smoke, because at minute 12 or minute 13, sorry, this is the window where Blink comes into play. So some support tanking that smoke prevents Boom from jumping Leshrac, opening up the fight to be a little bit better. So unfortunately for Ball, just a little bit off there. A good idea, just not the amount of numbers if I can just instantly punishing that. And a rare case of an anti-mage joining a fight pre-Battle Fury.
I mean, I feel
Unheard of.
No, that's not true. Oh my goodness, look at
here
this
we
stack.
go. Money, money, money.
Making it rain.
Yeah, again, love to see Gorg steal this, but alas, doesn't happen. Shad now has the Battle Fury. He's going to be a big, happy boy, sitting now at an uncontested 8k lead.
They're going to start having themselves an anti-mage problem.
And a tiny problem. This is, yeah.
Well, I don't think that was that tiny.
They got
that was a pretty big problem.
They got it, yeah. It's going to grow on you. They got a double threat.
My question now, looking at Team Bold's draft, is the idea of initiation, right? Because you've got 5 up right now. He seems to be the one who's going to be the person rolling in, throwing out some stones and whatnot. But like, Radchix on this Hoodwink is a little bit of a question mark to me too. How exactly is the best way to play Hoodwink in this particular draft? Because he is going for, those damage items. He's got, the Maelstrom queued up here. Yeah, Boom just doesn't even care. Just tosses Gork right back. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now, yeah. So yeah, fundamentally, it was laning setup and pressure were what Bald relied on. And that's why I kind of like the idea of their draft, because they had that laning pressure.
Right.
It didn't come into play. So now they're looking kind of like a plan C, like a plan D, because this is not what their draft wants to be going into. They don't want to be playing into a super farmed anti-mage because they don't have that quick, reliable stun. They're a lineup that's built around skirmishing, fighting, with an early access to Roshan to enable the Leshrac. And that's kind of what I want to see them now do, is group up. Sure, you're behind, you haven't stopped anti-mage, but take some towers, apply pressure to the Roshan, get an Aegis, and then you might be back in the game if anti-mage ever feels too forced to join these early fights. Like, yes, he has Battle Fury, but you're still in the window where he doesn't have Manta, Skadi +1. That's when he becomes the unkillable beast. So they're about 15, 20 minutes away from the game feeling a lot worse than it potentially is right now. Big fight, though.
Toss back here. They even go and drop the Earth Flare. Description does come out, though, from Aramis. Going to try to buy a little bit more time here for Boom, but there's just so much damage being tossed onto that Tiny, so he is going to fall.
This is good.
And this tower looks like it's going to be going into the control here of Team Bold.
Yeah, and this is the main thing that Bold needed to do. After this kind of troublesome laning phase, identify the fact that their draft is so good at skirmishing and fighting if they're together. Like this top engagement beforehand, if they were there as 5, they're probably going to win that. If Antimage is blinking in, he's going to be a dead man. But yeah, it's really good that Bold were able to see that through the kind of the mistakes that have been made and now go again, just reset. But this time, apply pressure to the Antimage. Try and kind of locate him, because pre-Manta, he will die to a roll, a bramble, anything. Even the Hoodwink put the Antimage to half HP when Antimage was off split pushing.
Aramis, they found Excalibur over in the jungle. KZ jumping forward. Shad is here as well. He's just going to burn out all that mana and collect himself another kill.
And this is why they picked Anti-Mage. That poor Leshrac. 7 seconds for the Hood to be active. Just a little bit out of position. Too comfortable farming.
The stomp here coming out from KZ. Shadow Realm, though. Going to protect the Dark Willow. Boom still wants us, though. The Avalanche is silenced. Looking for the toss-up into the air. Right back over to Kaizu. And he's trapped in the corner now with 5 of Radchix is here. And he manages to get the ultimate off. A couple more hits. Should be able to collect over on Boom.
Okay. Leshrac dies and then they get a tiny kill after. All right, not too bad.
Definitely a lot of back and forth here deciding. It's kind of a grab bag. Who's going to show up to these fights? Sometimes, Shad's like, yeah, you know what? I need to be farming over there anyways. I'll come in, get myself a quick kill on.
There is one consistent factor, though, in all of these deaths on the side of Viking, though, Moxie.
What's that?
Kezu is initiating.
That is true. When it looks like Kezu might be dying here as well.
Yeah.
If you go for the Stampede, doesn't matter. You can't run from the Hoodwink here.
I mean, we had the bottom tier 1 dive. We've had the top tier 1 dive, and now Kezu dives top.
Kezu just wants those subs. He's trying to make Kyle bleed.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He's like, why don't we make Kyle a little nervous,
some back channel
guys?
deals with Gorg. It's like, all right, we'll go, 70-30 split. I'll die a couple times, won't make it too obvious, get the Twitch economy going.
It's just stimulating the Twitch economy.
Yeah, well, both of these streamers are big fans of the whole Pepe's and whatnot, so they probably have one mutual connection between the two streamers.
Aside from the fact that they're both, streamers.
Yeah.
Play different lanes in the game, it's fine.
All right.
One's educational, one's not.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I find
But they're both
very
entertaining.
educational at times. what not to do.
Wait.
Ooh, the top of the hammer, boom. The rollout from 5 up. See you later. Rajix, though, starts winding up. It's able to go and apply that break over here to Tiny. And the teleports are coming in here. Pablo immediately throwing out the brambles, but the blink here from Boom will protect him.
Very close to catching Boom there. Boom's just playing super aggressive, and you can see how Viking, they've identified the fact that their draft might not have the biggest early damage, but if they're the ones being proactive, sure, they might be dying, but they're making Bald use so many resources. Like this Kezu pressure here is offsetting the ability to remove tower pressure. Tiny going middle, they're reacting to the Tiny, and it fundamentally is Anti-Mage's game is simply based on the fact he needs 3 to 4 items to enter fights happily, and that's why Viking are just being a little bit kind of gun-ho in their aggression.
I should say so. Disruption, Stampede, KheZu jumping forward with that stomp, but they do have the Terrorize, they have the Sharpshooter, and this is looking like a very dead Aramis.
Yeah, so Bald sees through this, poke and prod and go, okay, no, if you're going to try and, play around with us, we're just going to kill you quickly and start trying to take some towers. If they click on Anti-Mage, they're going to be like, okay, we got about 7 minutes left until this game's a bit rough. But, those 7 minutes, we can go Roshan. They can then pressure potentially a tier 3. Just this is the key window of the game right now. How do they unlock big boss man that is Roshan?
That is the question. They are sticking fairly closely together. I would like to see them take some sort of an objective, though, after taking that tower. But it doesn't look like they're making their way towards that Roche pit at this time.
You can see on the net worth, just Vikings' playstyle is so sacrificial. They have really put this into the department of 4 protect 1. And it just reminds me of a pub potentially. What happens if Shad blinks in and just dies? That 13k he's got, it could be nothing.
Is there anything that they can potentially build to help deal with that anti-mage as well? Because if anti-mage is going to be the only problem...
Lots of damage over here on Mr. Gork. Silence, but immediately Spell Shield just to be able to walk away. Shad is left behind here. He's going to wait patiently. KheZu just going to be able to back him up if necessary. They get the Sharpshooter off.
So many stuns.
They don't have the vision.
Oh.
And away Shad goes. Fighting over in the tree line here. Just spot out Gork. No, it's going to back off.
So yeah, back to your question about what they can itemize for. Realistically, additional lockdown would be good. Leshrac has to go BKB. But then other than that, it's just getting tanky enough that Viking's damage is completely removed. Because this early window of the game, Viking is ahead because of the tankiness and pressure they apply, but not the kill threat. They only have 4 kills. Bald is the one with the kills. And Jesus.
Told
for 21 minutes.
Aramis was going to have a fast Ags.
Oh, this game's been pretty chill for him, I guess. He's 0-2-2, but has an Axe.
Yeah.
And now Bristlebat's going to feel
Sad.
very sad.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Roshan. Oh, no, not Roshan. Pick off then Roshan. Smoke on smoke action, Moxie.
Yeah, so they're gonna find themselves Celery. And again, he does have that Glimmer Cape, but he's gonna try to buy a bit more time. The Stampede comes out. Curse Crown does, of course, proc, so Gork should be able to chase down Celery. It's gonna be the Dark Willow that gets a kill. Excalibur, though, on the back lines, getting just blown up by Shad. Things are feeling a bit scary now as they're still hot in pursuit. Boom, he was looking for the Avalanche. It's going to be a little bit off the mark, but they get the break applied over here to the Bristleback. Good Terrorize, though. We'll push everyone away, and they'll be able to go hold on to Mr. Boom here over the mid lane. Oh, good, the stomp, though, coming out from KheZu. They turn around the double edge. Do they have it? They have the damage. They take down 5 up. They'll turn their attention right around again, and they'll get the kill on Gork. And Shad, he wants more. He'd like to get his hands on this tiny little squirrel. The Bushwhack, though, will buy Rajix just enough time to run away. Shad still wants this, but not sure if he's going to be able to quite grab him. How far does he go as KheZu underneath the tower? Does have to be careful of the Bedlam. Get that Avalanche here from Boom. Pablo sitting very low, and it looks like they'll respect it. They'll back off. There's still a tier 1 up in mid, you know?
But they try to aggressively posture. They try and at least get some kind of story to be built around Roshan, but look at the fight. We didn't see Leshrac blow up, but Leshrac pokes his head up the high ground. He's going for a Bloodstone. He's got a casual hood. He doesn't have a BKB, which means every time it is just going to be death when he shows in the fight. He needs the BKB to take these 20-minute fight. And
he's going for Kaya first, though.
Yes.
You don't like it.
He needs a BKB because every single fight, we get a replay here. Look, as they initiate onto Celery, he dies pretty quick, but if you look at the HP bar of Leshrac in about, right, 5 seconds time. Oh, it's half HP, and then boom!
Which
dead.
HP bar are you talking about?
Yeah, he just got deleted. And yeah, that is the difficulty of board. Where if Leshrac was able to survive, maybe this fight could be a little bit different. But because Anti-Mage is such a 1v1 counter, his positioning is so key, and they weren't able to back him up. They weren't able to support him because they were fixated on the idea of killing Elder Titan. Antimage should now be having the Skadi complete, but as we see these highlights, Bald is straight into Roshan. They are trying to get this Leshrac some fight presence with an Aegis. Kind of cliffed.
Kind of cliffed. It's a bit strange. You have the clip there completed.
Well, the illusions are cliffed at least.
A bit strange of the interaction there with the Bushwhacked, but they do need to go back into the pit. Roche at less than half health. Boom, walking in. He's going to see Gork and Excalibur there. He's trying to wait patiently. Good stomp over here coming out from Celery.
This is so scary. Into an ET, into SD, into Tiny. Leshrac's like, guys, I don't really want to use any mana here to take Roshan because Anti-Mage will just kill me.
That's the fear.
And everyone around him.
Look at the way that
Everyone around him, yeah.
they're just creeping slowly over there, trying to keep tabs. Celery gonna go drop that spirit again. From the back line, Shaz starting poking. Boom, jumping forward immediately, trying to take down Gork fast enough. Is he going to be able to do it, though? The question, stop coming out here from KZ. They just cut Gork apart into pieces. Excalibur over on the back lines. Pablo does get cleaned up by Shad. And they do have Dust this time around, so they should be able to go and get the kill over onto KZ. Toss up into the air, though. They'll end up losing Excalibur. Gork actually going to buy back here. And it feels like we just saw something very similar to this early on, as now 5 up will fall. Rajik's trying to run away. Gork is back in the fight, but he doesn't have anyone to back up. He's just going in. He's a madman. Look at him. And then immediately, the anti-mage, Boom, is here. He tosses poor Rajik's back. Rajik's didn't want to be a part of this. Rajik is going to die. It's a triple kill now for Shad, and he's going after Gork. Just the chase down. No mana left over here on Mr. Gork, as a Viking just shoves him. He starts to go back in again.
I mean, they have to, right? This Aegis, if the Antimate gets it,
yeah, this is
it's game over.
Exactly. This is a make or break for the game right now for Ball. You can see how they've been so
It's gone.
they've been
gone.
pressuring it so much, and yet Viking do take it away now. 13k lead going towards them, and Gork doesn't want Kyle subs at all with this swift buyback, and yeah, feels bad, man.
Shad doesn't even care. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna go hit these creeps. Hey,
Yeah,
what's up?
yeah, and the tip as well. Like this is Bristleback's a
Can I help
hero
you?
about early game pressure, pace, and momentum. This never really came into effect, and Antimage is now giggling. These are the two carries looking at each other. You got one carry with a Skadi, a Battle Fury, a Manta, and the other one's got a Vanguard, a Shroud. Like the tanky boy versus the actual damage dealer.
That net worth graph as well, though. Jeez.
Oh, can we see it again?
What?
The net worth graph.
Oh, I mean the graph. I don't mean the
You can
graph.
see the
I mean
14K
just
going,
I mean
yeah.
the graph.
Look at that. That was
the graph is
it
pretty
was like acceptable, acceptable, Roshan. So yeah, that was a bit unfortunate.
And buybacks. Don't forget the buybacks, but another large bit of that too.
Yeah. That's a painful situation for Team Ball to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Is their hope completely gone, though? Because they're still fighting on. They surely still have some chances, right?
Yeah, right now, let's see. Let's watch Celery potentially die. Do you have detection?
I don't know, but Shad is here as well. So Celery taking a lot of damage over on the side, but they do apply the break. The stomp here coming out from KZ uses that Stampede. As the split is on, they'll get the kill on Gork, and the chase is on here after Excalibur. Looks like Rajik's going to try to buy just a little bit more time. Does apply that break over here to the AM, but blink forward, Pablo's going to be absolutely fine over in the corner. They're not paying attention to him because they'd rather kill Rajik's, and they're still chasing down Excalibur. Can they get their hands on him fast enough? It doesn't feel like they'll be able to. Oh, with the blink, though, Shad chasing after Excalibur, just clicking
He's just
away
gonna
here.
die.
It's a long chase, but eventually Shad is godlike, and Pablo does find the kill on Celery on the back lines. But
that's a
To your
GG.
question, Shiva,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, not
No.
really. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
They almost killed Celery. They put the sentry down, and then he lives on like 10 HP. But yeah, they made sure that they still kill Celery before they called GG, but they also recognized that at that point their timing was gone.